Hi, it's Christine here with your Red Hot Fit Tip of the Week, and as you can see, I have some company today.
Hey.
This is Melissa Toler, who is a health coach, but she's also a writer, a speaker, and a rule breaker. And as someone that follows the rules, I am a rule person. I like regimen, I like systems. When I first heard about this rule breaking, I was a little bit skeptical. So Melissa, why don't you tell me how you came up with this idea and why it's beneficial, why it's important to be a rule breaker.
So, I don't love rules, especially rules I think don't make sense. So that's kind of where I came up with this concept. The other thing is, the main reason I came up with this is because what I have found is that a lot of people, but especially women, feel like there are certain rules they have to follow in order to either eat healthy, lose weight, be fit, or whatever you want to call it. The reality is, a lot of these rules are confusing. People have told me the more I educate myself, the more confused I am about what to eat. People feel like the rules kind of have them in a chokehold, like they can't move, it's very restrictive. So, and those two things just create a lot of misery for people. It feels like a lot of unnecessary suffering. And so, I mean, I've done that myself for a number of years, and I figured I don't want to do, like, it doesn't have to be that way. So I just came up with the concept of feeling free to break the rules that don't serve you. There's no reason that you should have to follow these rules if they're making you miserable.
And you found it to be of benefit for your health.
Yes.
To break some rules.
Yeah, and so when we talk about health, there's the physical health, and a lot of times we equate weight, specifically low weight, with good health. Not always the case. So when I think about health, I think about physical health, emotional health, spiritual health, mental health. So if I'm eating food every day that I don't love or restricting myself, my mental and emotional health is kind of in the toilet. And I've been there, so I know for a fact that that's not how I want it to be. So, but contrary to what people might think, because I've allowed myself to break the rules, I do eat very healthy. I feel great. I don't weigh myself, so I don't know how my weight has fluctuated, but my clothes still fit. I'm still able to get a good workout in the gym. Like, I just feel really good and free.
Yeah, you mentioned that you would think that most people would have the opposite. They're breaking rules, they're being bad all the time because being good means you're following the rules. But you found that to be not the case. You found there'd be great benefits from.
Yeah, absolutely. I just feel freer, and it just, I feel good. Like I choose food that makes me feel good because I'm really tuned in to myself.
Great. So what are a couple of the rules that you encourage people, or maybe rules that you prefer to break? Because I guess that would be kind of different for everybody.
So so when I talk to people about this, and when I help clients kind of come up with their own rules, you can even break your own rules. I say to people, my rules aren't even written in stone, so I can modify them at any time. The whole point is to be able to feel free to come up with what works for you and not have someone else tell you what to do all the time. So the rules that I love to break are, number one, the no carbs after 6 p.m., 5 p.m., so the no carbs after dark. So to me, that doesn't make sense, and I like to eat carbs at night sometimes. So for example, last night I had spaghetti meatballs at 9 o'clock, and I was totally fine with it. I didn't feel bad. So that's a rule that I have gotten very comfortable with breaking. People look at me like I'm crazy when I'm having spaghetti meatballs at 9 o'clock and going to bed at 10, but it works for me. The other rule is I don't think of food as good or bad, because food inherently, it doesn't have any moral standing. It just is. We attach goodness or badness to it.
Definitely do.
And when we attach goodness and badness to it, then if we have something bad, then all of a sudden we're bad. And so that goes to the whole spiritual and emotional and mental health. Like, who wants to think about themselves as being bad all the time?
No. Yeah.
That feels crappy.
Yeah, it's horrible.
So I stopped thinking about food as good or bad. It just is. And so the last rule is I eat whatever I want every day. So people, again, look at me like I'm crazy because I ask people, what would happen if you could eat whatever you want every day? And people said, oh, I would gain 100 pounds, I would go out of control. And the funny thing is, you really don't. So I don't have cheat meals or cheat days. I eat whatever I want to eat every day. And so that doesn't mean every single day I'm having cheeseburger, french fries, ice cream. Like that's what people think that means, but that's not what my body and my mind wants every single day. So I just eat what I want. Like I don't reserve dessert for the weekend. I like to have dessert on Tuesday. Like why can't I have bread pudding on Tuesday or Wednesday, right? Or I have wine on Monday. So I love to eat whatever I want every single day. Every meal is a treat for me. So those are my 3 big rules that I've created for myself. And as a result, I feel free when I'm out with friends at restaurants. I'm not like trying to decide what to get on the menu. It's just whatever I want. It just feels good.
I think it goes back to that restrictive nature, that you're feeling so controlled and so restricted that you just go crazy.
Totally.
And when you're not like that every day, you just enjoy in moderation.
Absolutely. When you allow yourself permission to have pizza whenever you want, you'll soon realize you don't want pizza every day. And pizza is my favorite food in the world. I don't want it every day, but I can have it whenever I want. There's this freedom that we're not used to having because of the restriction and deprivation associated with always trying to lose weight.
Right.
And that drives me crazy because I see a lot of women suffering unnecessarily. So that's what's really behind this whole rule breaking thing for me.
So Melissa started this movement, and we want you to join the conversation by sharing maybe a rule one of the rules that Melissa shared today, or maybe something that you've been restricted by, a rule that's controlling you and making you unhappy. And you can either post it in the comments below. We'll also have a link for her Facebook group.
Yes.
How many members do you have in that now?
We have about 70 members so far.
And people are just commenting and sharing and just, I really feel like it's a liberating experience for a lot of people.
It allows you to just feel free to do what you want. And one thing is, this restriction makes you feel like you can never really have what you want. Right. Not just with food, but with things in general. I mean, how many times have any of us been to a restaurant and said, well, I really love to have the pasta, but I'm gonna have the salad instead. Like, just have what you want.
Right.
So it is a very liberating feeling. It takes a while to get to this point. It definitely doesn't happen overnight, but when you get here, man, I still can't believe that I'm just like not tracking myself. Like I just feel awesome. My clothes still fit. Like sometimes I can't believe it myself.
So we want you to have this same experience. So comment below, head on over to the Facebook page and join that movement. And we'll have some more information on Melissa so you can connect with her. And we'll see you next week for another Red Hot Fit Tip.